Right, preparing live stream webinar. I don't know.
Streaming live.
Setting up live stream webinar. If we're live, hello everyone.
We're live.
We're live.
We are live.
What up, people?
So hello, we are four professional Facebook livers. You can't tell by the fact that we're just giddy. Hi guys, Coach Jenny here, along with Karen Graves, Ross Brand, and Monique Johnson, the #1 panel for South by Southwest, at least in our minds. We are here to kind of recap our first week of three-week voting process for South by Southwest. We're going to tell you a little bit about things, but in case you have to leave early, we want to make sure that you know what we're talking about. So I'm going to tell you how to vote. One moment, please, while I share my screen. So if you go over to, Ross, what is the link you created? livestreamuniverse.com/SXSW?
That is correct.
SXSW. Practice that one. It'll take you over to our particular panel, which is Facebook Live, Build Tribes and Actually Make Money. I am very proud of the fact that I hand selected this tribe of people to talk about this, because each of us in our own right has developed a tribe, a community around our work, specifically using Facebook Live as a way to speed up that know, like, and trust factor in a dramatic way. And so we want to talk about that, and also how you actually make money with that. So what we would love for you to do is come over here. You do have to log in. If you are a South by Southwest person, you've ever logged in, most of you will have to set up an account. It's just asking for your email, not your blood type or your firstborn. And then you'll come over here and vote up. But it's telling me I can't do that because, you know, I'm not signed in. Then what we'd really love for you to do is to leave a comment. And y'all, look at this. We have 61 comments from the people who dig us.
Wow.
Unbelievable. And it's very difficult to figure out who to highlight here, but because there's so darn many. But thank you guys so much. We got Leland, Carlos, there's Pat from back in the Blab days, Kelly and Mitch, and there's too many people to list everybody. Barb has been incredibly supportive of us. Sarah, like, look at this list of people. Are you guys blown away?
Blown away. Love them all. So sweet.
So sweet. Please keep doing that. Those comments, we really believe, we don't know, but we really believe that that's really going to help the South by Southwest selection committee, the people who make the big decisions, really look at us and take us more seriously, because they don't necessarily know us. In fairness, we don't necessarily know them either.
Right. And
so it's really about trying to figure out how can we make sure that our panel gets some eyeballs on it when they had 6,000 people propose panels. Now, I know they get a lot of panels. There's still room for many. It's not like just one person wins. This is an American Idol. But still, you know, we have our work cut out for us. So we are doing this voting process. You have until August 25th, but vote today, please. As a thank you for that, the four of us decided we wanted to provide some content. We don't just want to beg for your votes. We want to provide some content. And so we started that this week, and I thought we could kind of recap what we did this week and talk through it. So we got kicked off with Monique on Monday. Monique, tell everybody a little bit about what you covered in your live stream, and then we'll drop all these links below after the call.
Yes, hello everyone, and good morning to the West Coast and the East Coast. And on Monday, I talked about how to prepare your Facebook fan page for Facebook Live. I feel like there's a lot of prime real estate on your fan page that a lot of people do not take advantage of. And the two major things that I would encourage those who are watching this live and watching the replay is, one is taking advantage of the cover photo video section. I think Facebook by now has rolled it out to a lot of people, and then that is a really new feature. So if you guys are not familiar with that, that's why it just has been released. And then the second part is actually turning your video section into a YouTube channel. So you have a featured video section, you can create various playlists, just like a YouTube channel. And I think those two prime areas are very, very important for a lot of brands, business owners, and others who can take advantage of using Facebook Live, because Facebook Live ultimately, even though it's live streaming, it turns into a video as soon as you're done. And that's what Facebook naturally does, automatically does. It turns into a video. So that's how you can use it to create your own YouTube channel via Facebook. And that's primarily what I covered on Monday.
I thought it was awesome. I had no idea that you could put a video as your banner. Did you guys know that you could do that?
I had no idea.
I had no idea that was a thing. Ross, you did?
I just saw somebody doing it the other day, and I thought, wow, that is really cool. I got to look into doing that as well. And then, so Monique was right on time with that presentation.
And I love the idea of it being a live video that you've shot as well. So you can just, produce that video, make it a live experience and put it right there. The other thing is when you were talking about playlists like you have in YouTube, I didn't realize I could organize my things that way. I had no idea. I have all kinds of videos that are just organized chronologically or reverse chronologically. And that's not a really great experience for people who are just stumbling upon you.
Yep, exactly.
So really great stuff. Thank you, Monique. And then after that, on Tuesday, Ross started talking about money, specifically 3 different paths to monetization using Facebook Live. So tell us a little bit about what you covered, Ross, how that went.
Yeah, so I talked about, there's more than 3, right? And there's really 4 paths. And one path is really only a few people are pursuing that path or have succeeded with it. And that would be actually getting paid to do your show, sponsors, getting hired by a network to be their live streamer or whatever. But focusing on what businesses, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs can do, there's basically 3 paths. One is very underused, but has been very successful for a lot of people. Like the LuLaRoe people, and obviously QVC's been doing it forever. And that's just getting on and selling a product. That's what this product is. It's got great features. It's got great benefits. Here's why you should use it. Just being direct about it, right? It's not about some call to action to sign up for my list, and 10 years later, you'll get an email and you'll buy something. This is, here's my product. Here's why it's of value. And you see people doing that with webinars. I mean, the webinar is, we're going to teach you a couple things, but basically it's about selling a course or selling another webinar or something else. But people have done with selling clothing and selling certain products have done very well on a variety of platforms doing that. And certainly Facebook is bringing in new ways to purchase products. And so I think that's an effective way to go forward. And I'm also going to be hosting a show starting Thursday, August 31st, 7 p.m. Eastern, shameless promotion there. I'm going to be hosting a show called Livestream Deals, and it's going to feature about 4 products, services being offered either by people within the Livestream community or geared at people within the Livestream community. And while I've enjoyed helping people promote their shows and stuff, I think helping people promote their businesses and their products is even better way to, serve the community, and I might make a little money in the process, and we all come away a little bit happier, right? Yeah. So that's number 1. Real quick, number 2 is what most people are doing, which is you provide value, you build relationships, and over time, some of those people decide that when they need the product or service that you provide, they're going to go with you because you're top of mind. They have a relationship with you. They feel they know and they can trust you and they like you, as you said, the know, like, and trust factor. Yeah. So that's what most people are doing, and it's paying mixed results. Some people have gotten big business from all over the world, and other people are still in the relationship building process. They're still finding the content that sort of aligns enough with their business. It doesn't have to be your business, right? But it has to align a little bit to you can at least get the message out there that you have a business, right? And then the third path, which is also kind of underused, but I've seen a lot of consultants and people like that have success with it, and that's what I call the portfolio method. And that is the live stream show and the engagement are nice, but that isn't the priority in terms of the business side. You're enjoying delivering the content live because that's the way you like to deliver it. You enjoy the engagement with people, but ultimately it's about when somebody's interested in doing work with you, they want to become a client, they're going to go Google you and something will come up, right? And if you have a body of work out there, a digital footprint that includes live video, now you have an ability to show them what you can do, what you know, what you'd be like to work with, how you handle spontaneous situations, and all that gives an impression of you that a static resume or a static web page doesn't. And I think that's really underused when people are talking about marketing funnels and all this stuff. Sometimes just having the work out there is extremely valuable. And I think in large part, that's what we're doing here, right? We're not only providing value to the people who are watching, but people who want to check us out before they vote, if there are any committee members who are watching, whatever. What a better way to show that we can give a speech than actually go on live off the top of our heads and present and talk to each other and answer questions from viewers and stuff like that. So those are the three methods. They're not mutually exclusive, and probably a good live stream strategy should have some combination. But in general, one is going to be more dominant than the other, right? Is your priority to sell the product now, and that's your focus? Is your priority to build the relationships and get your name out there and build your brand? Or is it primarily about how you can repurpose it and how you can have a digital footprint so people come looking for you because they may have already heard good things about you, and then they can find that and be comfortable working with you? So that's a long explanation of what I talked about.
You know, when I was watching that stream that you did, I think it was Tuesday, I realized I'm using all three of those different methods for different reasons. And I didn't realize the portfolio method. I think that one that you mentioned, a lot of people are like, yeah, who cares? But that's huge because you become bingeable, right? You and your content become like Netflix. And I've had the experience where a client has signed up for a call on a Friday, but you like booked the call on Friday for Monday and then spent the weekend binge watching all of my live streams to see what I'm all about, and show up on Monday saying, okay, I know I'm not allowed to say I don't know. I know I'm not allowed to say I try. And I know what this is going to cost. Let's do this. And I'm like, okay, well, let me just send you a PayPal. It's so wonderful. And your name is, you know,
right.
Nice. Because they're able to really see it. And if you're doing live streaming right, then they get that what you see is what you get experience. The second point that you made really dovetails into what Karen talked about on Wednesday, which is, okay, great. I want to have that know, like, and trust factor. I want to find clients. I want to be able to ask for a business and have you join my services. What the F do I talk about, right? So how do I create content that actually gets attention of prospective clients and turns them into clients? So Karen, tell us a little bit about your presentation on Wednesday.
Yeah, so on Wednesday, you know, like I said, you can always show up and throw up on Facebook Live and talk all day. But if nobody is, you know, listening to you or nobody cares and it doesn't make a difference to you, then, you know, one of those things is you're just basically talking into the wind. And so you really want to be clear that instead of having the show up, throw up, and nobody really cares what you're talking about, you've got to have messaging that matters. And so in order to create that type of content that matters to your audience, you've got to have massive clarity. You've got to be massively clear on, you know, what you're all about, problems that you solve, the solutions you provide, who your people are, and more importantly, what's important to them. Because if, you know, when you're talking and sharing your message, it's got to land on the thoughts that are going on in their head, not what you think is so fancy and wonderful and exciting about life and special, but what's important to them. That's what makes people stop and like wake up and say, wait, you're talking directly to me. And then the other thing is you got to show up, you know, as a leader. And as a leader who has strong convictions about what you believe in. Nobody wants wishy-washy, oh, well, maybe. I think they want to hear, you know, like your rally cry. They want to hear that you're very convicted and you have strong beliefs. And those beliefs are things that are benefiting them. So when you're coming from that stance of, I'm really clear about who I'm talking to, instead of talking to a sea of thousands of people, you're talking to a specific group of people and they know it too. And your beliefs are either something that they're like, wow, I've never heard that take on that belief before. Or they're like, wow, I've never heard something like that before. And so they're drawn in and they're listening and they're looking for you. They start to look for you everywhere. And then you've got to show up consistently, right? And what happens is when you're massively clear and you have these convictions, the content starts to pour out of you, especially when you really know your audience. You're just like, oh my gosh, I have an idea for this and I have an idea for that. And then you got to capture all those ideas. Well, if you do it in a really if you're into it, you'll start to write down all these ideas. Well, if you have 30 ideas, you have a month of content. Sit, every day, do a soundbite of your content every single day. And all this is your rally cries that matter to them. And all of a sudden you'll find that people are starting to say, whoop, they're going to come up again. Oh, I'm looking for Jenny. She's got something else to say. Oh, it's Jenny. Look, let me click on the link because I see Jenny's here talking. And so when it comes to asking for people to come into your community or jump on your email list or have a conversation with you, it's not shocking and surprising. They feel like, wow, this is somebody who's been talking to me and understands me so much. Why wouldn't I have a conversation with them? So that content can easily write itself if you get that massive clarity and you raise up your conviction and you get to sharing it.
I love that. And what is so interesting about Facebook Live, all four of us were hardcore blabbers back when Blab was a thing. And Blab was interactive, just like this, with 4 people in a window. It's kind of nostalgic. When I moved to Facebook Live, one of our concerns, I remember Karen, you and I talking about this at length, was that it was one-to-many. But what you're describing creates an experience that still feels one-to-one, right? So what you're describing is when you create that content and you're connecting with your audience, each audience member feels like you're talking to them and they're not paying attention to anybody else, right? Like you're really making that connection. And I didn't even realize when we had to switch to Facebook Live, because I went with my arm twisted, asked Monique, she was twisting my arm to get over here, that it would create that intimacy where, go ahead.
I call it like the pastor effect. If for those church goers, right, you go to church and maybe you haven't been there for a minute and you sit down and all of a sudden the pastor's talking, you're like, holy crap, you're talking directly to me. Oh crap, how did that happen? Right? You may not have ever been there and you feel like that message is just for you. It's because that person in the pulpit understands their audience so intimately well. They know exactly what topics are important to them. And so if you can have that type of effect with your audience, every orator should have that type of effect, like that every person in that audience feels like you're talking directly to me. And if you can master that, it makes a huge difference so that you don't feel like you're hoping that somebody gets the message today.
Right. And it also helps you focus on, how to direct that message and make it personal and make it individual, like an individual experience. So I love it. I love everything you guys are talking about. So I added to the conversation on Thursday, because here's the thing, people, you can figure out how to set up your Facebook page, get really strong, figure out what combination of monetization efforts you're going to go through, figure out how to really talk to your customer and figure out how to plan your content. You could do that all day long. But if you don't press the freaking go live button, it's all for naught.
That's right.
And so on Thursday, I talked about how Hilda, that voice in your head, your inner critic, tries to screw with you and keep you from going. Because what we've learned firsthand is that going live on Facebook at first is really scary. I was talking to Ross yesterday. He was saying, my first Facebook Live, I was really nervous. I'm like, my first 30 Facebook Lives, I was really nervous. There's so much that goes into looking at the camera like I'm doing right now and talking to a bunch of people. If I look at myself, then all my self-consciousness comes up. And so I shared a bunch of tips and tools of how all of our fears, which they feel very real, they're kind of BS. Some of our fears are rooted in just straight up vanity. We're worried about what everybody's going to think and how we look. And maybe I shouldn't do this until I get my hair fixed and all these different things, right? I love how the women smiled at that one. Ross, you don't have that problem as much. But I've heard all 3 of us have had a moment where we've said, yeah, I'm going to live stream, but I got to get my hair done, right? We've had those moments, but also, just being afraid to look funny, to say too much, to say too much, to worry about what that girl from high school is going to think if she shows up to your live streaming and you haven't talked to her in 20 years, right? There's all of that stuff that your inner critic screws with you on that keeps entrepreneurs from pressing the blue button. And so my presentation was really about reminding them how incredible of an opportunity we have with Facebook Live. We could talk about Facebook Live all day long, and I see a lot of fabulous people here who are not afraid to go live on Facebook Live. But to get started with this is kind of scary. To be bold and to be visible and to say, here I am, I'm ready to show up and tell the world about what I'm doing and maybe sell from Facebook Live. That's big and scary. I don't want to come off salesy. I don't want to come off smarmy. I don't want to come off fill in the blank. All of that noise can keep people for a very long time from going live. It kept me from going live for a very long time because I thought I'm only good in these interactive moments. But practice makes better. Practice doesn't make perfect. We're not going for perfect. The best thing about Facebook Live is that you don't have to be perfect. That's why I hate YouTube. I love you, YouTube, but I hate you, YouTube, because it'll take me 3 hours to produce a 10-minute video that I'm putting on YouTube. You know how long it takes to make a Facebook Live video that's 10 minutes long? 10 minutes. That's it. It's a one-take deal, and I love that. So that was what I presented on Thursday to kind of finish out this week of our first week of the summit. We're creating our own summit. Let's call it that, right? Yeah.
And actually, there's something I wanted to add.
Please.
Based on what Ross said, Karen, and even yourself, as far as the importance of being consistent and really sticking to it, because Facebook Live is always changing. Like this week, they just launched the ability for you to go live within the stories. So Facebook is doing all that it can to get you to use it, but also make it very easy for people to see your live streams. So if you're being consistent with it, you are definitely staying top of mind just by the mere technology that Facebook is investing to help people see you. Another thing is, which was actually, I knew about this, but it was really cool, was that Jenny sent me a couple of snapshots of her watching me on her big screen, which is amazing. So like the fact that she can watch me on a big screen, that means a lot of people can watch me on the big screen. People can watch me through Apple iTunes and also Amazon Fire Stick. So what does that let you know? That lets you know that there are more audiences and different audiences that are able to see and view your content on a consistent basis. So now it's opening up. It's going outside of the 2 billion who are on Facebook platform in itself. Yeah. And those who are subscribers on Amazon Prime, or even just using the Fire Stick and also the iTunes. So that's really, really something that you all should kind of think about and let it sink in, because that's allowing you to do that.
I love that. And here's the thing about Facebook Live. Oh, I'm sorry, Karen, I cut you off.
Yeah, real quick, I wanted to add what Monique is saying is that, also Facebook loves to give kind of like the floor to those who show up often. So that raises your algorithm, right? And so you are suddenly one of those featured posts, so you'll end up in your friends and however you have your public settings, news feeds a lot more often. And so again, you're drowning out the noise and you become somebody that people see all the time. And after a while, people are like, I just saw you. I saw you again. I see you all the time, right? And so if you notice in your newsfeed, people who are quiet, you may forget that they even are in your world, So if you're consistent, it pushes you up.
And I think that's the importance of, I'm sorry, Jenny, that's the importance of what Monique was talking about with the Facebook page, because that gives you a chance to leapfrog beyond your network of friends and family and even business people who've connected to your personal profile, it gives anybody who's interested in looking up your business. I mean, we think, okay, you Google and you do different ways, but the way Facebook's going, it's going to become the internet, right? And you're not only going to visit friends and family, so to speak, and interact. You're going to be doing your business on Facebook. You're going to be applying for jobs on Facebook. You're going to be shopping on Facebook. It has that potential, right? And even if it doesn't become the place, it's going to be a very important place. So if you set up a Facebook page and you live stream on your Facebook page, you might not get right away as many viewers as you would on your personal, but you're building up a body of work. Again, the portfolio method, where when somebody's interested in your business, they may be just as likely one day soon, and already people are doing it, to type the name of your business into a Facebook search as they are a Google search or a YouTube search or whatever. And then on your business page will come up, and they can go down and they can see the videos, and then you have an active page, and you have content that's not only being boosted when you go live because Facebook wants you to go live, but is there for people to find it. I mean, it doesn't yet organize in the best way, but I think Facebook's working on some new things that are going to come out that are going to be a whole new world for people creating shows and content to find ways to promote their shows, which is ultimately promoting a way for people to come back to your business. So I think it's a very exciting time. If you already have an established audience on another platform, by all means, keep feeding that community. But if you're starting out, if you're a company that wants to build a strategy and you don't know where to go to Facebook first, because the opportunities there, as Monique was saying, and also not only to leapfrog over sort of your already established networks through a business page, but through Apple TV and all the other ways people can find you outside of this behemoth that is Facebook. And let's acknowledge it, like it or not. It's a place where you need to have a presence, and your business has to be, as well as you as a person have to be now.
And I want to emphasize one point for everything that everybody's saying here is what we want to emphasize is that you can do this from scratch. Every single one of us didn't show up to Facebook and be like, oh, let me bring my thousands of people with us and they will be here to, no. A lot of the people that you see in the social media world, specifically with the live streaming world, they brought huge lists and all these we started our live streaming from scratch, and all four of us are making money by using Facebook Live as our primary way of connecting with prospective clients, as our primary way for telling the world that we exist, as our primary way for looking for speaking opportunities like we're doing right now. We did that from scratch individually, and now we're also finding a way to do it collectively. So and I mean, come on, does it get more diverse than this panel when it comes to who we are and our different backgrounds and what we do for a living? So if we can do it, we know you guys can too. And that's why we wanted to put together this panel presentation and take it to South by, is to really help people who don't have an audience to figure out how to push a button and start a movement from scratch at the bare, using all of these tools that we're sharing.
And truthfully too, if you are just building your business, some people are looking for tons of clients, tons of customers because they're selling product. But for those who are selling services, even though you have a reach of 2 billion people on Facebook, in order for you to really have a business that's up and humming, you don't need 10,000 people as customers, every single month. Like, you just need a good handful of clientele every single month. And so what better way to get in front of that handful over and over and over again, and to actually be working specifically with those you really want to work with, so it's really advantageous for you to just go ahead and start speaking. It's like having workshops from your living room.
Yeah. All right. So let's just do a quick little tease. What kinds of things do we want to talk about in the next 2 weeks? What other things do we want to bring up? I personally would love to bring up how to use Facebook Live in Facebook groups, and why that's a really great way to build your tribe. Monique, what are some things that you would like to touch on in the upcoming weeks?
You mean for the summit? I think there's a whole process or strategy that people don't realize needs to happen on the back end, or after they go live, or even before. So I will be talking about those strategies before and after.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's sensational. Karen, what about you?
I'd like to talk about how to ask in a way that doesn't feel salesy and sleazy and slick.
Yep, I think we all need to hear those lessons as well. That's a big fear of everybody's. Ross, what else are you going to be sharing with us in the upcoming week?
So for this week, I want to talk about how audio is the most important part of your Facebook video. Because if people can't hear you, then they can't find out about your business. They don't know your personality. They don't know what it's like, what information you have. This is essentially a talk show with webcams. If the video is fuzzy, people can still listen in another browser. But if the audio goes out, I mean, our beautiful faces can only hold you so long with no content.
Right.
The audio, the content is in the words. And so we think all about our appearance and all that stuff, but how we sound, our ability to have, if you're going to either have fuzzy audio or fuzzy video, have fuzzy video and solid audio, because people can still listen, but without anything to listen to, there's really no reason for them to stay tuned unless you're a mime or you.
Right. I want to go ahead and wrap this up, but I think that in the spirit of Facebook Live, the best way to wrap it up is with a comment from the community, because we have this beautiful comment from Eduardo. He says, "This is why I love this panel. At the end of the day, show me the money and building a community." Thumbs up. So I think that's a perfect way to sum it up. That's what we're trying to do.
That was a great comment.
Thank you for that.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's a perfect sum up. So we are going to do this again next week. Watch for lots of announcements from the four of us, as well as we'll be back next Friday to kind of recap what we did. We will drop all the links of all of our, if you guys would drop the link of your individual replay in the comments below so that everybody can watch those in case you missed it. And we will put this all together for you. But last but not least, please, please, please vote for us.
Yes. Vote. Go vote.
Livestreamuniverse.com/SXSW. I'm getting better at saying that, y'all.
That is a tongue twister.
SXSW. I like it. Sounds like success.
Exactly. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you, panel. And we'll talk to you guys on Facebook Live next week.
Thanks. Bye.